There is a specific moment that changes everything. Not the moment they first hurt you. Not the moment you cried alone, wondering what you did wrong. Not even the moment you started questioning your own memory. The moment that changes everything is quieter than all of those. It's the moment you look at them, really look at them, and for the first time, you don't see the person you thought they were. You see the pattern. And the second that happens, the second the mirror clears, they feel it. They always do. And what they do next will tell you everything you needed to know from the very beginning. Stay with me, because what I'm about to show you is going to change how you see every relationship in your life, the ones that hurt you and the ones that are still hurting you right now. By the end of this video, you will understand exactly what a toxic person does step by step the moment they realize they are losing their grip on you. And more importantly, you will know what each move means, why they do it, and exactly how to respond so that for the first time, you are not reacting. You are deciding. There are 6 moves. They almost always happen in this order. And once you see them, you cannot unsee them. I used to think that understanding someone's behavior would make it hurt less. It doesn't, but it does make you free. Because confusion is the most powerful weapon a toxic person has. The moment you understand what is actually happening, that weapon stops working. So let's take it apart. Move by move. Move 1. They become unusually kind. The first thing they do will confuse you more than anything else. They become nice. Not just nice suddenly, warm, attentive, present in a way they haven't been in months. They text first. They ask how you are. They remember the small things you mentioned weeks ago. Picture this. You've been distant. You've started protecting your energy. You've stopped explaining yourself and started simply not being available. And suddenly, they show up with coffee. Or they send a message saying they've been thinking about you. Or they bring up a good memory from early in the relationship. Here's what's actually happening inside their mind. They don't know exactly what changed in you, but they can feel the shift. And their first instinct is not to understand you, it's to reactivate you. They are not being kind because they love you. They are being kind because kindness is the fastest way to pull you back into range. This is called love bombing in reverse. Not at the beginning of the relationship to win you, but in the middle or the end, to keep you from leaving. What to do? Receive the kindness. Don't react to it. Don't reward it with warmth they haven't earned. You are allowed to notice it without responding to it. Say nothing. Watch what comes next. Move 2. They test your boundaries. When the kindness doesn't bring you back the way they expected, when you stay measured, calm, a little distant, they move to the second phase. They test you. Small violations at first. A comment that goes slightly too far. A favor they ask that feels just a little too big. A plan they make without asking you first, and then wait to see if you say anything. These are not accidents. They are reading you, trying to find where the new line is, trying to understand what version of you they are dealing with now. Picture this. You're in a conversation, and they say something slightly dismissive about something you care about. Then they pause just for a moment longer than feels natural, and look at you. That pause is not casual. That is data collection. If you react, if you explain yourself, defend yourself, or get upset, they now know that door is still open. If you say nothing and simply continue the conversation with the same energy, they know something has changed. And they don't know yet how to handle it. What to do? Don't explain yourself. Don't defend your new boundaries by arguing for them. Simply maintain them. Every time you justify a boundary to someone who is testing it, you are teaching them that boundaries are negotiable. They are not. And you don't need to explain why. Move 3. They recruit others. This is the move most people never see coming. When they can't reach you directly, when the kindness didn't work and the testing didn't work, they go around you. They talk to people in your life. Not to expose you. Not necessarily. At first, it's more subtle than that. They mention casually that you seem different lately, that they're worried about you, that you've been distant, and they don't know why. They frame it as concern. They position themselves as the person who cares, and you as the person who is pulling away for reasons nobody can quite understand. Picture this. A mutual friend reaches out. They say they heard you've been going through something. They ask if you're okay. They were talking to the other person and, well, they seemed concerned. This is called triangulation, and it serves a very specific purpose. It creates pressure from multiple directions at once. It makes you feel like the distance you created is not protection, it's a problem. It makes others question you so that you start questioning yourself. What to do? You don't owe anyone an explanation for protecting yourself. If a friend reaches out and it feels like it was prompted by the toxic person, it probably was. You can be warm with that friend. But you don't need to defend yourself or explain the situation to anyone who wasn't there. The people who know you don't need the explanation, and the people who don't know you, their opinion is not your responsibility. Move 4. They rewrite history. By now, they've realized that the usual tactics aren't working, so they do something more sophisticated. They change the story, not just to others, to you. They bring up moments from the past and reframe them. Suddenly, the thing they did that hurt you wasn't what you remember. Suddenly, you were the one who overreacted. Suddenly, the pattern you've been seeing clearly was always, according to them, a misunderstanding. Picture this. You bring up or simply reference something that happened between you, a moment where you were hurt. And before you can finish the sentence, they are already 3 sentences ahead of you, explaining why that's not what happened, why you always do this, why you take things out of context. By the time they're finished, you don't even remember what you were trying to say. That is the goal. This is gaslighting, not as a dramatic event, but as a quiet, consistent rewriting of your shared reality. And it works because the people it targets most are the ones who are most willing to consider that maybe they're wrong. What to do? Trust your memory. Not perfectly. No one's memory is perfect, but trust the pattern. You don't need to win the argument about what happened. You already know what happened. The argument itself is the distraction. When someone consistently has a different version of every story that happens to make you the problem, that is the pattern. And the pattern doesn't lie. Move 5. They manufacture a crisis. This is the one that works most often, even on people who think they've already figured it out. They create an emergency. It might be a health issue, something sudden and serious enough that you feel you can't walk away right now. It might be a problem at work, a conflict with someone else, a moment of real or exaggerated vulnerability, and they time it perfectly right when your distance is becoming permanent. Picture this. You've made a decision. Internally, you know you're done. You've started to imagine what your life looks like without this person in it. And then they call. They're not okay. Something has happened. They need you. And every instinct you have, every good thing about you wants to respond. Because you are not a person who leaves someone when they're struggling. That's not a weakness. That is one of the best things about you. And they know it. They have always known it. What to do? Compassion does not require closeness. You can care about someone's pain without being the one responsible for fixing it. If this person has a support system, friends, family, professionals, their crisis does not have to be your emergency. Caring from a distance is still caring, and it is sometimes the most honest thing you can do. Move 6, they go silent. When none of the other moves work, when you haven't reacted the way they expected to any of them, they disappear. The silence is complete, and it is designed. No messages, no contact, no acknowledgement that you exist. And here is where it gets important. The silence feels like punishment. It is meant to feel like punishment. The message underneath it is, this is what your life looks like without me in it. Picture this. A week passes. Then 2. You find yourself checking your phone more than you want to admit. You wonder if they're okay. You wonder if this is really over. You wonder if you were too cold, too distant, too quick to pull away. That wondering that is exactly what the silence is for. Because the moment you reach out, the cycle begins again from move 1. What to do? Let the silence be an answer, not a punishment, an answer. The person who goes completely silent when they don't get what they want is showing you, more clearly than anything they've ever said, what the relationship actually is. You don't need to reach out to prove you're not cold. You are not cold. You are clear. And clarity after everything you've been through is not something to apologize for. 6 moves, almost always in this order. Unusual kindness, testing your limits, recruiting others, rewriting history, manufacturing a crisis, and silence. Here is what they all have in common. Not one of them is about understanding you. Not one of them is about making things right. Every single one of them is about restoring their access to you. And the reason this matters is not so you can be angry, though you are allowed to be angry. It matters because when you can see the move before it lands, you stop experiencing it as something happening to you and you start experiencing it as information about them. The mirror doesn't lie. It never did. You just needed time to look clearly. Tell me in the comments which of these 6 moves have you experienced, not because I want you to relive it, but because the moment you name it, it loses power over you. And if you know someone who is in the middle of this right now, someone who is confused, who keeps going back, who is blaming themselves, share this video with them. Not with a message, not with an explanation, just the video. Let it speak. Subscribe to the mirror effect, because the clearer you see, the freer you become.